Greetings everyone, my name is G-Rod and this is Let's Build, where I build a Lego set timed to different media and talk about the facts concerning the topic of the build. How many episodes of a series will it take to complete the set? To find out, let's build. Today's topic is the Lego Ship in a Bottle versus a tutorial series on making an actual ship in a bottle from YouTube with our friends from A Cut Above Woodworking. With their permission, of course. Let's start with the specifications of the Lego set. Continue a traditional nautical tradition when you build the Lego Ideas Ship in a Bottle, featuring a highly detailed ship with the captain's quarters, cannons, masts, crow's nest, and printed sail elements. Place the ship inside the Lego brick-built bottle with a brickable cork, wax seal element, and water style elements inside. Then display the model on the stand, featuring the ship's Leviathan nameplate, built-in compass, which is non-functioning of course, with a compass rose and spinning needle and globe elements. This construction toy also includes a booklet about the creator and fan of the Lego designers of this wonderfully nostalgic set. Features a brick-built bottle, ship and display stand. The bottle features a detailed buildable cork with new for February of 2018 wax seal style element and over 280 translucent blue water style elements inside. The ship features a raised deck at the stern, captain's quarters, 6 cannons, 3 masts, a crow's nest, and assorted elements including printed sails and the ship's flag. Display stand features the names of the ship, which is the Leviathan, on a nameplate, a built-in compass with detailed compass rose and spinning gold-colored needle, 2 globe elements, and gold-colored detailing. It also includes a booklet with building instructions, of course, plus information about the set's fan creator and Lego designers. The bottle on stand measures over 3 inches high, 12 inches wide, and 3 inches deep. Ship measures over 3 inches high and 5 inches long and about an inch wide. Other names for the ship in a bottle is an impossible bottle, which is a bottle containing an object that just appears too large to fit through the bottle's mouth. The ship in a bottle is a traditional and the most iconic type of impossible bottle. Other common objects include fruits, matchboxes, decks of cards, tennis balls, racquetballs, Rubik's cubes, padlocks, knots, and scissors. These may be placed inside the bottle using various mechanisms, including constructing an object inside the bottle from smaller parts, using a small object that expands or grows inside the bottle, or molding the glass around the object itself. Some history of ship in a bottle models. The 3 oldest ships in bottles were created by Giovanni Biondo, dated in 1784, 1786, and 1792, and were built for the Venetian Navy. They are accurate models of new designs for the Venetian first class and second class line of battleships. The 1784 bottle is of the first class ship, the 1786 bottle is of the second class ship, as is the 1792 bottle, which is identified as the Fama, the first vessel of that class completed. The 5th oldest ship in a bottle of an unidentified 3-masted warship was created by Francesco Biondo, Giovanni's son, in 1806. These 4 ships and bottles are clearly the work of master modelers built in a state of the glassblower's art bottles. The 1784 bottle is in the museum stated, but the ship is misidentified, and the 1786 bottle is in a private collection in Milan, and the 1792 bottle is in the museum in Lisbon, and the 1806 bottle is in the Glass Museum in Venice. None are on display to the public, unfortunately. There are no other existing examples of the ship in a bottles until about 1880, which roughly coincides with the introduction of mass-produced colorless, transparent bottles cheap enough to be considered single-use. Contrary to popular myth, few, if any, ship-in bottles were sailor-made, but were much more likely built by a lighthouse keeper who had lots of free time and access to bottles and materials. This explains the nearly ubiquitous rocky point or part of a coastline with a lighthouse in at ship in a bottle in that period. Sailors did not have much free time to build ships and bottles on ships. Merchant ships were always manned with minimum crews to keep costs down, and the sailor's life was little more than just work, eat, and sleep. Ship captains viewed idleness as a breeding ground for mutiny and consequently kept crews constantly busy when they weren't eating or sleeping. Ships and bottles became more popular as folk art in the second half of the 19th century. After the introduction of cheap mass-produced bottles made with clear glass. A significant collection of ships and bottles is in the Dashwood Howard collection held by the Merseyside Maritime Museum. A ship and bottle, a popular nautical gift during the bygone maritime eras and even in contemporary times, is a unique concept of putting a model ship in a glass bottle. Well-crafted memorabilia, the idea of a ship and bottle served as a poignant reminder of the magnificence of both the vessels and the maritime domain. Various historical anecdotes recount different theories of the ship and bottle paradigm. Sure tales talk about the seafarers' desire to whittle their free time through these minutely constructed figurines. At the same time, many assign these uniquely filled bottles to yet another sleight of hand in technical maneuvering. But contrary to the latter theorizations, I'm not sure that's a real word. I'm going to have to look that up. The art of constructing and fitting out ships of different dimensions within bottles having constricted necks is as detailed and arduous. The significance of the model ship placed strategically within the bottle perhaps arises from this arduousness. The accentuated creativity and singularity of the ship model were probably the major contributors to this constructional art form, which perpetuated its immense popularity in the heydays and transformed presently into equally well-crafted replicas of original constructions. During the construction era and methodology, the nautical gift of the ship and bottle was in vogue during the late 18th and early to mid-19th centuries in Europe and the Americas. Over the years spanning this era, the constructional methodology has also changed, with the various ship and bottle designers coming up with different constructional approaches. However, even the actual start of the concept is well known. The innovator of the concept still remains a mystery. There are many ways to incorporate a ship within a bottle successfully. The most commonly employed technique is constructing a ship based on a historical vessel model and then placing them within the bottle. Lesser known techniques involve the vessel's construction by placing structural elements within the bottle and carving them to shape and modeling them inside the bottle as opposed to outside. I want to take this moment again to thank our friends at A Cut Above Woodworking. This is a woodworking's YouTube channel that started in 2011, filmed in Canada. If you have any interest in making real wooden ship in a glass bottle, I highly recommend checking out their tutorials. There are how-tos on a single ship in a bottle, which is what you're watching now, and making 2 ships in one bottle, with many, many other woodworking projects. This particular build is an in-depth 6-part how-to demonstration series, which includes him demonstrating the materials, procedures, and necessary tools needed to create your very own one-of-a-kind ship in a bottle and display stand. And we're going to talk a little bit about how he goes about making the ship in a bottle, but I do, again, highly recommend if you have any interest in this craft, please go check out A Cut Above Woodworking's channels, and he'll give you all the details that you're not going to hear him talk about because I'm talking. How does one go about making a ship in a bottle? Elaborating on the first constructional methodology, the essential requirement for a ship in a bottle architect is to choose the right bottle variant. A clear glass bottle without visible seams, labels, or flaws like lettering is usually preferred. It should be cleaned with a cleaner and the insides with cotton swabs. Since ships of the past came in different shapes and sizes, the mouth of the bottle, stand measures, and the extent of its flat base shape when placed horizontally also matter immensely. Apart from the bottle's sizing, several other important elements also need to be considered while constructing ships and bottles. Typical items finding their way into a ship in a bottle kit thus would be the right kind of glass bottle, can be transparent, plastic bottle, or even a soft drink container. Pigments to depict the textures of the sea, small blocks of timber, toothpicks, bamboo skewers, cables, strings, and glue to solder the whole structure wherever necessary. The first step after the bottle is chosen involves replicating the vessel using small blocks of timber. The bottom of the hull is trimmed and placed inside the bottle. The constructor needs to utilize the right quality timber, which can not only be easily whittled, but will be equally durable. Whittling the timber is intended to the intended vessel's shape is a meticulous task and needs to be carried out by thoroughly calculating the width of the bottle and the proportions of the mouth and neck. Once the timber is whittled, the torso of the ship model with all the detailing is created, and the appropriate finessing agents are applied to emphasize its detailing. The next step involves constructing elements like the top of the mast, main sail, detailing the sides of the hull, spar holes, and riggings of the model ship with the help of timber, rods, and cables or strings. Through a small hole and a small piece of wire, these are attached to the hull using strings and hinges. These elements too require calculations to be precise so that the positioning of the vessel into the bottle is not hindered because of inaccurate measurements. At the same time, the architect also needs to maintain authenticity of the replicant craft vis-a-vis the original if you are basing your model off of a real-life structure, or if you are just using a generic ship of the past. but you need to take into account what your aim and goal is, which makes these minute constructions even more important. The paper is gummed to The paper is gummed to the replicant spar holes to replicate the unfurled sailing canvases. The cables are used to provide flexibility to these structures, which are made planate while positioning and shifting the vessel into the bottle. Thus, these cables act as flexible joints into the already carved vessel support structures and help the architect in the smooth transition of the ship model into the bottle. Before transitioning the ship into the bottle, a water base needs to be coated with pigments to create the effect of the sea. Mixing fillers, in this case it's going to be silicones, with pigments give the stains a semi-solid consistency, which can be coated into the bottle's interior surface to provide an authentic feel to the ripples and waves of the sea. Using the extended length of cables, the flexible joints of the pole structures and the riggings are slowly lowered to allow the passage of the ship model into the bottle. After the vessel successfully transitions into the bottle, aligning it perfectly over the coated wave replication is equally essential. After the vessel's aligned absolutely, the cables are tugged and pulled to raise the poles and riggings with extra cable length, then snipped to present a daintily carved ship in a bottle. Ships in bottles are a unique way of associating oneself with the maritime domain, even if one weren't a seafarer, and are truly a collector's pride and marvel. Moreover, these constructions boast aesthetic ingenuity with a never-to-be-diminished allure and appeal. Constructing a ship in a bottle requires a lot of patience and is an activity full of adventure and fun. Perfect to be done with friends or family if you don't have OCD like I do. His total build time was about 6 weeks. Now keep in mind, the time does include dry times for paints, glues, resins, silicons, stains, which usually you want to have completely cure before you move on to the next step, which would be about 24 hours, if not longer. I know for the silicone, it took longer because not much air is circulating inside of the bottle to allow it to harden. So you do have to take the true amount of time, of real world time, that's going to take. My total build time is 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 45 seconds. We went through 5 of the 6 episodes it took to build this ship and bottle. I do recommend watching the entire 6 episodes in real time to see all the details in a larger format, get to hear Ken's step-by-step instructions, get to see him finish the assembly of the ship in the bottle, and make a homemade display over at Cut Above Woodworkings. There's also a double ship in a bottle as well on his channel. Thank you for watching. Thanks again to A Cut Above Woodworkings for allowing me to use their episodes in this video. Remember to like, subscribe, ring that bell, all the things for the YouTubes.